World News on the morning of February 2, US and South Korea conduct joint Air Force exercises, Russia warns Israel about this, Equatorial Guinea has its first female prime minister. Asia. Japanese Foreign Ministry. Foreign Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa and NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg pledged to continue to impose sanctions on Russia over the conflict in Ukraine. Korea Times. South Korean Foreign Minister Park Jin visited the U.S. from February 1 to 4. The main topics of interest were the direction of developing the Korea-US alliance, the Korean Peninsula issue and emerging global issues. CNAS. Singapore has arrested an 18-year-old man on charges of aiding the self-proclaimed Islamic State, IS, terrorist organization and planning attacks. Anadolu. Lebanon's central bank announced on February 1 that it has set a new exchange rate for the local currency at 15,000 lira to $1. PTI. The government of India proposes defence spending of 5.94 trillion rupees, $72.6 billion, for the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, up 13% from previous estimates for the addition of fighter aircraft and construction. Build more roads along the border. Yonhap. South Korea and the United States held a joint air exercise with the participation of B-1B strategic bombers and F-22 and F-35B stealth fighters of the U.S. Air Force. MRTV. Myanmar's Defense and Security Council agreed to extend the state of emergency for another 6 months, so it is likely that the time to hold elections in this country will be postponed to August. Jakarta Post. Indonesia plans to build a national logistics ecosystem, NLE, with 14 seaports and airports to support and promote the logistics and distribution industry in the country. Tempo. The governor of Central Java Province of Indonesia Ganjar Pranowo said that the regional government is very serious in responding to the increasing number of child abductions in recent years. Dawn. The Consumer Price Index in Pakistan in January increased by 27.55% year-on-year and 2.9% month-on-month, according to the Bureau of Statistics of Pakistan on February 1. Europe. TASS. Russia warned Israel not to supply Ukraine with weapons, after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he was considering military aid to Kiev and was ready to mediate conflict resolution negotiations. Guardian. Nearly 13,000 foreign companies holding assets in the UK failed to declare their owners on the government registry by the January 31 deadline. DW. Belgium decided to close the Tahang 2 nuclear reactor just 50 kilometers from the border with Germany. This is the second nuclear reactor that Belgium has stopped working in the past 4 months. Bloomberg. Sales of electric cars in the EU countries increased to a record in 2022, in the context of the EU's efforts to replace fossil fuel-powered cars. Euronews. Inflation rate of the Eurozone, fell for the third consecutive month, to 8.5% in January 2023. The Times. The UK and EU have reached a customs agreement that could help end the post-Brexit dispute over Northern Ireland. The EU has made a key concession on the role of the European Court of Justice, ECJ. Americas. Fed. The U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, Fed, decided to raise the basic interest rate by 0.25 percentage points to a range of 4.5 to 4.75%. The highest level since October 2007. AP Airlines cancelled more than 1,400 flights in the U.S. on February 1 after a snowstorm hit states from Texas to West Virginia. AFP. U.S. law enforcement has begun searching the beachfront home of President Joe Biden in Delaware State, the latest move in a campaign to track down improperly stored classified documents. Reuters. Speaking to the press during a visit to Latvia on February 1, Polish President Andrzej Duda said that his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden is likely to visit Central Europe in February. Bloomberg. U.S. company Amazon sets a new record for the most renewable energy production in a year by increasing renewable energy capacity by 8.3 gigawatts, GW, through 133 new projects in 11 countries. In the year 2022. Business Standard. Mexico will record an economic growth rate of 3% in 2022, surpassing the average growth rate of the past 3 decades. Africa. Africa News. Equatorial Guinea President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Basigo has appointed Deputy Education Minister Manuela Roca Bodi as Prime Minister, the first time a woman has held the role in the country of 1.5 million people. Egypt News. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi sent Director General of the Intelligence Service, Major General Abbas Kamel, to the city of Ramallah to deliver a message to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to show solidarity with the Palestinian cause, to achieve security and stability. Anadolu. Malawi President Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera conducted the first cabinet reshuffle in 2023 with the dismissal of 8 ministers. Middle East Monitor. Tunisian President Kais Saied decided to extend the nationwide state of emergency until the end of 2023. UN. The United Nations warns that up to 50% of medicines in West Africa are substandard or counterfeit, which can lead to antibiotic resistance or poisoning, undermining public trust in the health system. UNCR. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNCR, and 41 international and local partners have called for a donation of $556 million to support refugees in Sudan. AFP. The United Nations mission to Burundi is working with local governments and partners to devise solutions to combat the adverse effects of climate change. Oceania. ABC. The Australian Public Service Commission, APSC, and the Indonesian Ministry of State and Administrative Reform continue to work together in capacity building and governance, ASN, under the newly signed MAU. The Australian Immunisation Technical Advisory Group, ATAGI, will make a decision on the 5th dose of the COVID-19 vaccine within the next few weeks. CBS. On February 1, the volcano that sank under the East APC in Vanuatu erupted, prompting authorities to warn ships and planes to avoid passing through this area.